The true motivation for Caitlin Clark's relocation to Europe is revealed by Angel Reese. Angel Reese denies rumors, claiming that Caitlin Clark's departure was a business decision. Since Angel Reese couldn't allow Caitlin Clark's European contract to proceed without incident, she naturally takes over.
Fuck is that headline all about?
Yeah.
Yep,
She is the
WNBA.
worst fucking basketball player.
We've never witnessed anything like this in the WNBA. Someone so intent on causing trouble who is currently involved in her own drug scandal chooses to disparage Clark by saying that players are only interested in their paychecks and using race as a pretext for sympathy.
We'll talk about Caitlin getting hate, but someone sat down and spent hours putting together an 8-minute video with interlude clips all to trash Angel. Why?
But when the entitled complaints are coming from Angel Reese, it makes news throughout the mainstream media.
And it's obvious that she's pointing that at Clark. The crazy thing is that Caitlin has never said anything unfavorable about Reese or any other black player, but I feel like certain people nowadays don't deserve to be treated in silence.
Blah, blah, blah. From Angel Reese.
We all know that Caitlin Clark's trip to Europe isn't just about trying out a new scene or getting a different job. Rather, it's about leaving the toxic environment that the WNBA has become. Although the WNBA may initially seem like a dream for someone like her, a player who is essentially built to dominate, in reality, it was becoming anything but. She wasn't just out there shooting hoops. She was avoiding scandals and side eyes as if it were part of the game plan.
Titled players in the WNBA just can't seem to understand is, you get what you put in, and right now, you are getting exactly what you deserve.
And why, as everyone else tried to paint her as a villain, including some of her own teammates and even some prominent members of the media who called her a racist. Where do they come up with this stuff? Clark, however, is a calm player who never bites the bait and didn't waste time answering these baseless accusations. Instead, she focused on the one thing that truly matters, basketball, but the storm surrounding her kept intensifying like a bad reality show plot.
So I think it's really just the fans, her fans, the Iowa fans, now the Indiana fans.
And then Alyssa Thomas, who is obviously not a fan of peace, chose to stoke the flames by publicly accusing Clark of being responsible for racist remarks made by her followers. Yes, you read correctly. Thomas came to the conclusion that Clark somehow controlled the speech of hapless spectators.
I think in my 11-year career, I've never experienced the racial comments from the Indiana Fever fan base.
Ridiculous, correct. Thomas was really attempting to deflect attention from her own problems by wrapping her anger, envy, and whatever else was simmering inside into a tidy little accusation package and hurling it directly at Clark. It wasn't even about what Clark did or said.
Then she had a press conference where she cried and everybody's so mean to me. Well, she's continued the stupidity. I mean, she cheered on her teammate as she shoved Caitlin Clark, knocked Caitlin Clark in the head, and a bunch of other stupid stuff.
But here's the thing. Caitlin didn't need to do anything wrong to become a target. The affection she was receiving from fans and the way her name dominated every highlight reel and headline was enough to start a jealous fire in the WNBA. It wasn't just random internet trolls either. Some of the players who shared the court with her were unable to handle it and instead chose to celebrate her greatness.
Unacceptable, honestly. And yeah, there's no place for it. And we've been professional throughout the whole entire thing, but I've never been called the things that I've been called on social media, and there's no place for it.
It's Q Angel. Reese certainly had her own moment in the spotlight, but let's face it, Clark's ascent to prominence was unparalleled, and Angel was obviously not thrilled about it. While Clark was becoming the league's face, Reese was on the sidelines, watching the attention go by, and it didn't take long for the resentment to start building. You see, these players had dedicated their entire careers to gaining the kind of love Caitlin Clark was receiving, and here she was a rookie snatching it all up lick.
No, it's going to Caitlin Clark fans are mean. And if Caitlin Clark fans are mean and they're white, where does this head? Oh, you know it goes to racist.
For Clark, this is the reason why Europe seems like a sweet getaway. It's not just about playing in a different league with a different atmosphere. It's also about breathing air free of the harmful toxins the WNBA had been directing at her. The petty accusations and jealousy, the ongoing drama, Clark realized that none of it had anything to do with basketball anymore and that she owed no one else a moment longer of her time spent in that disaster.
Well, now they found another victim, the fans of Indiana. Now, I'm going to side a little bit with these idiots.
Additionally, while her detractors are busy stirring up controversy, Clark is already miles ahead doing what she has always done best, letting her game speak louder than all the noise. The fact that she chose Europe over the WNBA offseason is her way of saying, I don't need to stick around for this nonsense because, let's be honest, the atmosphere surrounding her in the WNBA had nothing to do with basketball anymore. It was just a jealously fueled feeding frenzy with players and commentators jumping at every chance to tear her down, not because of what she did, but because the world was embracing her, and that was the real crime in their eyes.
Her attention, her notoriety is based off Caitlin Clark. Because she wins the national title, first thing she does, she mocks Caitlin Clark. And then she doesn't even celebrate with her teammates. So she's made it personal with Caitlin Clark.
She did more than just criticize. She backed up the dump truck and dumped it, saying that Clark's choice had little to do with fleeing the dumpster fire environment at the WNBA. Let's take a moment to consider whether this is truly about money or if Reese is merely attempting to divert attention from the reality that she is in her own mess. Reese wanted everyone to know that this was all about money. Yes, to her, Clark was just out here chasing the big bucks. Forget all that talk about toxic teammates or dirty play angels. You know, it's all a front. Since Reese's career is hanging by a thread and her name is still plastered on headlines due to that small steroid scandal, she decided that rather than owning up to being busted for performance enhancers, she would rather drag Caitlin Clark down with me. When you're that far down the rabbit hole, it's much easier to point fingers at someone else than deal with your own baggage.
Angel Reese. So she's sort of embraced a Draymond Green role here. But the eyeballs on the WNBA really have to do with Caitlin Clark.
And now for the real deal. The irony is so thick that you could cut it with a knife. Reese didn't stop at Clark. No, she went all out, suggesting that every WNBA player, including Clark, is only in it for the money. This is coming from the same player whose career ended because she was caught juicing up to gain an advantage. It's a classic deflection. She's drowning in her own scandal and is hurling accusations like confetti to deflect the attention from herself.
I do think that some of this drama, and she started some of it, to be fair.
Remembering the timeline is important. By the time Clark was preparing for Europe, the WNBA season was almost done, and she was already busy getting roasted over her steroid suspension, with the press dragging her name through the dirt for weeks. Clark's European adventure was publicized in mid-October 2024. Steroids, EPO, anabolic pills, you name it, Reese had already been in the news for all the wrong reasons, and her reputation was ruined.
We've heard all of that. It's real. We want to act like, well, let's not focus on that. Let's just march forward and let's just move forward. Well, guess what? You can't move forward when you ignoring the past.
However, it's almost comical how this angel is attempting to portray Clark as the avaricious one. Reese has the audacity to appear as though Clark is making shady maneuvers while facing rumors of a lifetime ban lawsuit from the Chicago Sky and a career that is essentially in ruins. Fortunately, the sports world isn't buying what Reese is selling pundits from Stephen A. Smith to Patrick Bett. David has been making fun of Reese's obvious dishonesty and calling her out for attempting to divert attention from her steroid scandal by blaming Clark and the public. Yes, they are essentially finished with Reese's antics.
Death threats, I've been sexualized, I've been threatened, I've been so many things, and I've stood strong.
When you examine the larger picture by zooming out when it was revealed that Reese had tested positive for performance enhancers in early September 2025, the WNBA world fell apart. She was suspended, her coach Teresa Weatherspoon was fired for allegedly helping her, and the Chicago Sky even filed a lawsuit against her. During this time, Clark was simply going about her business, racking up wind. Reese's downfall didn't begin with Clark's trip to Europe.
Angel Reese is the villain, Caitlin Clark is the hero, and Angel Reese continued to play into it last night by getting ejected, and it's almost like it's all scripted. This is perfect. for the WNBA. She's all the talk. She's the one standing up there in front of reporters saying, I need all of you guys to realize there's two of us that changed the game of women's basketball. And it's not just Caitlin Clark. I was a part of that.
However, it's no secret that Reese has been green with envy over Clark's rise, and the timing of her attacks on him isn't coincidental. She simply couldn't take seeing him thrive. Reese's own career was in ruins, and the more she pursued Clark, the worse things became for her. Angel Reese's days of breaking records and being hailed as the next big thing seemed like a lifetime ago, and now she's more known for getting caught using steroids than for anything she did on the court. It's the kind of small-time drama that makes you cringe to see a player who was once regarded as a rising star in the WNBA resort to this. If the WNBA wants to avoid an even larger talent drain in the future, they need to rethink their priorities. And fast you enjoyed, leave a like. Additionally, subscribe to see more videos today.